Welcome to How to Play by Cathouse Gaming, where our goal is to explain the key game mechanics needed to get you and your table mates playing. We know you'd rather be gaming, so let's get started.
Hey guys, today's game is Element. An element, each player is a sage, intent on using the elemental forces of wind, earth, fire, and water to entrap your opponent. Element is an abstract game in which players draw and place colored discs representing the four elements onto the board in order to capture their opponent. The game is quite interesting in that your opponent is the player to your right, but the player to your left is going after you. This means that you will feel attacked by the person to your left, but stay focused. The game ends immediately when a sage is unable to move. The winner is the person to that sage's left, who is charged with capturing that sage. It is possible to cause someone else to win. If you seek revenge on the player to your left for attacking you, and you ensnare their sage, the player to his or her left wins the game. Revenge is definitely not the answer in this game. Place all of the discs in the bag and shake it thoroughly to mix the discs. Each player selects a sage. In a 3 or 4 player game, the sages are placed on the board within one of the 4 circles. In a 2-player game, the sages are across from each other in the middle of the board. Sages will draw and place discs representing the 4 elements of fire, water, wind, and earth to capture their opponents. Each element operates in a different method, but before we go into the specifics, take a look at the perimeter of the board. Each element can always be replaced with the element that is its kryptonite. Water replaces fire, fire replaces wind, wind replaces earth, and earth replaces water. Fire spreads and pushes forward. When a red disc is placed near another red disc, a red disc is removed from the bag and placed on the opposite side of the disc that was just placed onto the board. This only happens orthogonally. The disc that has been pulled from the bag can only be placed on an unoccupied space, or it can replace a space occupied by wind because kryptonite. Water flows like a river and leads from the front. When a blue disc is placed near another blue disc, it leads the line of blue discs, aka the river, the number of spaces equal to the length of the river. The river can only travel orthogonally, but it can turn one way and another in order to navigate obstacles or surround a sage. It can travel through and replace fire, because kryptonite, but it is thwarted by all other obstacles such as a sage, wind, and earth. Wind lifts a sage, allowing them to leap over obstacles and traverse the board quickly. When a wind disc is placed near the active player's sage, they can leap that space immediately without a movement cost. Wind can be used to travel orthogonally and diagonally. Wind discs can be built up to 4 high, and exactly 1 square is jumped per disc. Travel via wind never counts as an additional movement, and sages can leap over multiple wind locations on the board in a single turn. Wind can be used to capture an opponent because a sage using wind to travel must leap over the specific number of spaces equal to the number of wind discs placed on the square. This can prevent movement as a sage cannot leave the board nor land on occupied squares. Earth forms hills and mountain ranges. When a single earth disc is placed, it forms a hill and blocks movement. A chain of single stacked earth discs forms a range of hills. While a sage cannot traverse directly through the hills, they can pass through them diagonally. Think of it as walking between the valleys rather than over the hills. As soon as a second earth disc is placed on any existing earth disc on the board, that range of connected hills becomes a mountain range. Mountain ranges are impassable diagonally except via a wind disc and only from the side of the mountain range where the wind disc has been placed. Each turn consists of the sage drawing and placing element discs from the bag and moving their sage. Movement of the sage is completely optional. Players always have the option to move their sage a single space in any unoccupied direction. On their turn, each sage can draw up to 4 discs from the bag. A sage can choose to draw fewer discs and increase their movement 1 space for each disc that has been forsaken. Movement and placement of the disc can occur in any desired order. Once movement has been taken, if desired, and all drawn discs have been played, it becomes the next player's turn. The game ends immediately when a sage is unable to move. The winner is the person to that sage's left. That's a wrap. You now know how to play Element. Go forth, use the forces of nature to ensnare your opponent, and may the best sage win.